Okay, let us examine this question, which I put a hint here as you notice. Hint, food carrying tubes. Okay, can observe plant T for a period of time. Explain why there were many insects found on the stem of plant T as shown in the diagram. So you know they're actually feeding on something. What are they feeding on? Of course, they are feeding on food. So where do the food comes from? So if you look at the hint, the food actually comes from the food carrying tubes. Okay, because here you're expected to explain why there are many insects found on the stem here. So very easy, you should say that the insects were feeding on the food in the food carrying tube. Okay, so for here, this question, you just put, okay, the insects were feeding on the food in the food carrying tube that were located in the stem of T. Okay. Okay, next. Okay, do take note. This question commonly tested in exam. If you see the P5 and P6 exam paper. Okay, next, can observe that fruit growing on plant T as shown. Fruit A is bigger than fruit B. He removed the food carrying tubes at part X. Okay, if you zoom in, part X is actually this part. Okay, this part X. This section here. Okay. After a week, that's after 7 days, he observed that the fruit A becomes bigger, while fruit B remain almost the same size. Explain what caused the difference in the size of fruit A and B. He give you some time to think through this. What caused the difference in the sizes of fruit A and B? They give you some hint is about the leaves. Look at those leaves that supply food to the fruit A. Okay. Okay, fruit A. So actually, if you observe the plant, right, most of the leaves, right, are above the cut at X. Can you see this part? If I remove this part, there are leaves here, right? So fruit A and most of the leaves, right, they are located above cut X. So the food made by these leaves can be sent to fruit A. Okay, but you see fruit B, right? Okay, fruit B is below the cut X. So this food that is made by the leaves during photosynthesis cannot be sent to fruit B. So you need to explain this because this is a 2-mark questions. So the answer is actually need to be very, very concise, which I'm going to help you now to explain this part. Okay, so you must mention fruit A, and most of the leaves were above cut X. Okay, thus the leaves above X could not transport to the parts of the plant below X. Most of the food were transported to A because they cannot go down, so they must go up. Okay, they cannot be transported. Most of food, most of food were transported to fruit A because B is below the cut, causing it to grow bigger in size. Okay, B could no longer receive food from the leaves above the cut at X, so it received less food and remained almost the same size. Okay, for these sort of questions, as long as you mention clearly, right, to the examiner that you understand that if you make a cut, right, of the food carrying tubes, right, below certain portion, that portion cannot receive the food made by the leaves, they will give you the marks. Okay, so you need not follow exactly the same way which I wrote here, as long as your concepts are correct. Okay, as long as the context means here the leaves above fruit A, when they make food during photosynthesis, the food can be sent to fruit A. That's why it become bigger and bigger. Why become bigger? Because they cannot go down anymore, because that part below cut X, all the food carrying tubes has been removed. So they can only go to fruit A. Okay, so this is how you answer this question, which I'm going to do a screenshot now. And then we'll take a 7 minutes break. Okay.